Hey there, how's it going? Get up here. From the continent of Corvair comes a race of constructed biomechanical entities sent from the future to hunt down Sarah Connor. Okay, maybe not that far. Although, I'll be honest, I just got a badass idea to throw against my players as a future villain. From the continent of Corvair comes a construct race known as the Warforged. Unlike most of my Eberron QED videos about race, this one will probably be a little on the short side, mostly because of how young the race is. The Warforged were created in the year 965 YK by House Cannith to act as soldiers in the last war. Before we get too far into what happened in their short history, let's go over exactly what a Warforged is. A Warforged is a magically created humanoid construct made of a mixture of wood, metal, reddit outvotes, and stone. The metal and the stone act as a skeleton, with the wood fibers being like a musculature system. Warforged also have a series of tubes running through their bodies that circulate a fluid that acts much like blood. Many Warforged also have a mixture of metal and stone plates on their bodies for protection. Their hands have 2 fingers and a thumb, while they only have 2 toes on each foot. All Warforged are between 2 and 33 years old, as the normal campaign starting date of 998 YK, with the average age somewhere in their teens. This whole physical description reminds me of something, but I can't quite place what. As a construct, they don't age and are effectively immortal without the need to breathe, drink, eat, sleep, or go number twosies. Although magic is used to create a Warforged, they are no longer magical in nature. They do not glow with detect magic, nor are they affected by anti-magical fields. Warforged have largely featureless faces with strong brow lines and a large toothless jaw. Warforged have no physical sex or gender, although many have begun to identify as one or the other. Each Warforged has a unique rune carved into their forehead known as a Gulra, which helps provide the Warforged with a sense of individuality. Warforged bodies can be modified by artificers for different purposes, or even utility attachments. Mr. Stud Implant, here we come. Warforged of many varieties have been created, from lithe, dexterous infiltrators to large, bulky tank busters. Near the end of the war, Titan Forges created semi-intelligent Warforged of gargantuan proportions that needed crew to operate properly. During the war, House Cannith sought to create warriors using their impressive artificing skills. They created a series of artifacts known as creation forges, which could spawn fully formed Warforged. A Warforged is created with rudimentary language and movement, but are extremely adaptable in their first few months to learning new skills. Although more experienced Warforged are obviously more effective, all Warforged are considered adults. Newly made Warforged have no concept of morality or beliefs of any kind. They are a blank slate to which anything can be imprinted on their minds, with a simple utterance of their activation phrase, "Okay Google." The Warforged have little in the way of historical points through most of their existence. They were considered expendable soldiers and little more than objects for most of their time. It wasn't until the end of the war that things began to happen for them. When the nation of Kyrie was destroyed, Warforged were found to have a fraction of the complications that other living creatures do when entering the mists of the morning. As a result, several groups of Warforged actually found themselves cut off in the area when the morning happened. Without orders or masters, these Warforged were the first to conceive of independence. A Warforged known as the Lord of Blades is rumored to have collected many of them and carved out a section of the highly dangerous Mournlands for himself. As the last war came to a close, and the Treaty of Thronehold created a precarious sort of peace, 2 main things happened for the Warforged. A law was enacted to dismantle all creation forges, and all existing Warforged were legally declared free individuals. Freedom has not come easy to the Warforged. Their entire lives they've lived as servants under strict orders. Now they suddenly find themselves free and able to make their own choices with little to no guidance. Because of this, many Warforged became general laborers, telemarketers, and servants. Some Warforged were so lost and traumatized they stood alone for weeks or even months in empty fields and forests waiting for orders that never came. There are even Warforged that never learn to adjust and remain catatonic to this day. Also, despite many Warforged having no desire to cause more harm, other races often see them as dark reminders of the past. Visions of Warforged committing murder, horrific atrocities, and generally cutting front of the line at the DMV, all at the behest of their old masters. These are hard to shake. Although I have little else to tell you about the Warforged, there are a few special individuals worth mentioning. Aegis was a protector that was assigned to protect Gamnon Irdaresh and his family, although he failed at this task. He has sworn to completely avenge their death, however. Fighter 4, a Warforged used for a particular brutal and dark purpose. He has almost no social skills and only a vague understanding of how society works. He is almost fanatically loyal to his new friends of Minra and Shemagen. The Lord of Blades. Numerous rumors exist about this Warforged. Some of them claim he was a personal guard for some king. Some even say he isn't a real Warforged at all, but the consciousness of a person placed in a Warforged body. His history is enshrouded in mystery. Assuming he really does exist, he resides somewhere in the Mournland, where he leads a band of Warforged whose sole drive is to destroy all creatures of the flesh and to make sure that the Warforged are the last surviving people of Eberron. Mace. A Warforged artificer for the nation of Kyrie that had a spiked chain replacing his right hand. He was adept at repairing and modifying himself, as well as having the unique ability to disrupt the magic of other magical items. Pierce. A Warforged ranger that served Kyrie and specialized in skirmishing, ranged combat, and guerrilla-style warfare. They now reside in Sharn, and Pierce still lives with his old captain and follows him loyally. Number 3. A Baelish heavy Warforged, he is a fighter that has also since found purpose as a paladin of Dol Arah. He serves the king of Breland as the king's protector. 3 is especially hardy since his body has been covered in magically enchanted adamantine armor plating, and his mind has spent so long in the depths of 4chan that nothing can shake his resolve. Hopefully you learned a little bit about Warforged for your Eberron campaigns. There wasn't much to cover since they're a very young race with no cultural identity of their own. Yet this new blank slate and lost nature is what makes playing a Warforged so compelling in a land of ancient civilizations and aging societies. So with that, stay healthy, stay safe, and have a good one, eh?